the closest Louis Vuitton store. This is the closest Chanel store. Starbucks closed right now. So the Apple store is here, but actually you don't see any product. Victoria's Secret is not more lightning. Little on the bottom you can notice Zara, McDonald's. As you see, it's not open anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Davide Poberejskii and I'm a lawyer from Italy. On my YouTube channel you will find mostly a lot of Russian material because I'm a lawyer that helps people from East countries in Europe and not in Europe to immigrate Italy. Today I want to make a video about how Russia changed after the aggression of 25th of February. I am doing this with a sort of a risky situation by doing this in Russia. I just arrived now in Moscow after 1 year I wasn't visiting, and I want to give you my impressions, show you how things are changed or maybe are not changed, and show you my impressions, maybe talk with people, maybe see some stores, how they change, how everybody, wanted to see. Right now, I'm walking from a house to the metro station. This is a very typical situation in Russia. You walk a lot. The spaces are very huge. And well, this is, of course, that doesn't change in any way. This is a beautiful, wood place here, park. And I want to give you my first impression. I arrived today just an hour before in the airport. The first thing impressed me really is how people are silent when they go out of the plane and when they walk into the passport control. Here I want to give you the first, understanding. A lot of fake news are against the fact that when you cross the borders and you get the passport control, everybody's checking you, everybody's controlling you, they're asking you to open the phone, to show your telegram if you have any anti-Russian channels or something like this. Absolutely fake. Nothing of this happened. They checked me. They saw that I was the first time entering back to my country after the famous event. I had little concern about, this all fake news about military service, because technically speaking, I'm in the age 35, which is a military service addicted age. Nothing of this happened. Just regular as every time, and they never checked any of my luggage, if I bring something of value more than this, more than that. As you know, there are a lot of sanctions right now against Russia, and one of the main sanctions concerns also the fact that you should not bring any merchandise which singularly value over 200 euros. So if you bring like a Furla bag, which is not one of the highest brand of the bags, that might cost, let's say, 400 euros, which is, I think, for any average people on okay price, technically you are under sanction. But nobody in Milano, Italy checked me, never asked it, not how much money I bring with me, carried me, nothing of this. Same story here in Moscow when I arrived from a charter from Istanbul, nothing this happening. So today starts my little journey for these 4 days in Moscow. I'm gonna show you how much, curiosity that I can, so you get an impression without any political view and opinion how things are changed, that even they change it or not. We're gonna see together how this is moving forward. Keep online. So this is a typical uptown subway in Russia. Nothing changed, but I want to notice that up there is a policeman, walking in the middle. This is not something strange after the 25th. This is very typical after the start. Well, this is something that was always present even before. It's a typical situation because here it's very used to have this sort of, let's say, control and verification from police of metro station and whatnot. So here, guys, we are in one of the most famous streets in entire Moscow. It's Ulica Verskaya. This is a very famous street, very huge place of encounter. You see a lot of people, a lot of things going on. And here in that little corner near the entrance of the metro station, you will find exactly this sort of black and orange symbols, which are usually associated with the last period of time with the sort of symbolism of the war, of the victor of the Russian against Ukraine. Well, actually, this is nothing concerned in this. This is just a poster that remained there from the 9th of May, which is the day of celebration of military service in Russia. These small things that appear here is just something remained there from the last month. It's not something you can find in the city. It's in a wrong way. It's usually associated with the sort of the imposed, willing of victory. Nothing against it. Just wanted to give you this small clarification in this point of the city. And of course, guys, I could not pass by the most famous place. We are not very far from where before. This is really center of the city. This black window building was the first McDonald's ever opened in Russia. It was the symbol of the capitalism going on, and this is what is going on today. So the place is completely closed. All the symbolism and all the logos are removed. Inside you can see the monitors, which are still sort of showing the logo. There's a lady cleaning, but the place is totally closed. Well, this is one of the strong, I think, signals what's going on here. This brand wanted to symbolize very properly how they are contrary to what is going on. And this is what remains today. This is a true story. Again, guys, not very far to where we were before. This is still near Verskaya. You can find some of the stores which were symbolizing the leaving of the country, but the one that impressed me the most, I want to show you, is this big, huge H&M store. It was supposed to be closed, but actually we're gonna see together right now that it's plenty open, working. So open, so functioning. Everything is sold, everything is priced. So everything is still open except some closing days. This thing a little bit impressed me, honestly speaking. Here, guys, I have to say that Apple Store is definitely closed. This is kind of very impressive to me to see these completely empty shelves. This is one of the very famous chain C-store selling Apple products. These guys are completely, I will say, out of business. This is another example of a brand that decided to do so, and this is the result. Many Italian stores, they are still open and in good business in Moscow. Intimissimi, Incanto, here we see Calcedonia. Those very more, let's say, commercial and public-oriented brands, they're don't care too much about what is happening. They care more about the employees and about doing their business. So this is not the first store I see in Moscow, and I saw many others open in some big, shopping malls. So this is it. Here, guys, we are in one of the most important economic districts and shopping districts. And here the comments are probably not necessary. This is the closest Louis Vuitton store. This is the closest Chanel store. This is the closet, but with still lightened vitrine from Prada. This was another store that was open here before selling accessoires and etc. So all this area is completely dismissed, and this is the result. Here, guys, we arrived near the famous Red Square. I'm not gonna enter today because there is a long lane checking all the bags, etc. Over there, over this horse, there is the ancient and infinite, how you call it, fire, the monumentum, and this is one of the most economic touristic places in all the Moscow. Here in this square, as you can see, in a normal Sunday, there is nothing going on, as all media try to think about. There is nobody protesting, there is nobody getting thrown out or sequestrated or detained or something like this. So it's a normal Sunday in a normal city, doing their, businesses and normal stuff, and nothing strange like this. Here, guys, we are in one of the most big shopping malls in Moscow. It's called Metropolis. And here it's very curious because I want to see how many brands are still open and how many are still in business. On the third floor, you have the food court over there. Here's the first signal of what's going on here. So all American-oriented stores are actually closed, except for closed because actually Nike and Adidas are still running. This is the famous point of Starbucks closed right now. I want to have a little walk around with you to see what is actually open and what no. A Sephora store over there is also closed. The Zara store over there is also closed. US Polo open. Lacoste open. Kasha Redetam still in business. Let's see how many others still running. A lot of Swiss-made watches still open. All Rolex stores around the cities that I saw today walking around are closed. There's one curious store, we're gonna reach it soon, like 50 meters. It's an electronics store. I want to see together with you if you can find some Apple materials. Of course, many of these stores are Russian production, so they open, that's obvious. But many of them it's import, and actually many stores are not acting as if they're pretending to. So actually there is not such big changes in such a huge shopping mall like this. I want to see with you, and as you can see here, Huawei is big populating. And here is the Apple production. That's curious. So the Apple store is here, but actually you don't see any product. This laptop here probably is for service, or maybe it was unsold, I don't know. Here you have some other products, but they're not Apple. You see a lot of Samsung production. So that's curious. This is what left from Apple. Probably this is unsold product and there is no, refurbishing. This is what is lefting from Apple production. Some AirPods, some watches. This is it. Not gonna go through the entire stall, but this is the general situation. Samsung is there, still present, still in business. See, there are some points like this where there are like few products left. Samsung is really grateful to Apple to living. And you see many other stores like this which are still running. The Nike store is really open. Levi's over there was closed today. Huawei is running as never before. So this is in short how things are changed in big Walmarts. So everything is still open, still in business, except some really thin exceptions. Women's Secret is still closed. Over there I see Clark's open and running, D-Skirt, etc. So this is it. We continue our little review about how Russia changed. Here we are in front of one of the biggest mall in Moscow. It's called the European one, the Verskaya. I want to notice you how things are changing. Here you see Victoria's Secret is not more lightning. Little on the bottom you can notice Zara. And here you have what we call an economic disaster. This gigantic building was an old McDonald's. As you see, it's not open anymore. There is something going on inside, and don't know exactly what. Doesn't really matter. There is a story behind it. There is a Russian guy that bought recently all 23 McDonald's stores, if I'm not wrong. But there are some problems because the bank from which he bought them are actually sanctioned. So there is a big thing going on around it. So this is how things are changing. So what closed it? The signature remains on the building, but it's not anymore lightning. So here is it. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of our travel of 4 days to Moscow. We are here now in airport Vnukovo. I want to give you some considerations at the end of this trip. So I found Russia not exactly as was described. I'm not gonna in any way say it's correct, not correct, not gonna touch any political thing. I want to give you just last consideration. All these sanctions look like they've never been before applied and there is nothing absolutely changing. Some stores are closed, but in my consideration, if the idea is to sanction a country, well, this is not the way to proceed, because it's the poor people that suffer from this sanction, not the rich guys, not the rich oligarchs that have been sanctioned. I see the same amount of international cars on the street in Russia and Moscow. Moscow, every time in my old 35 years of age, every time impressed me how much, these like black window, beautiful, huge cars are running, different Lamborghini, Ferrari cars, these beautiful Mercedes, these huge Porsche, etc. So these things change it at all. I was talking with some taxi drivers. They were telling me that actually all the car dealers, just last month, they bought like 10 times the amount of furniture and pieces that they usually used to change. So when people like broke a window, they just have like 1 year ahead all these windows. Of course, this will generate black market to buy this on alternative market. So this is normal. So in my consideration, I see nothing of this. Probably you are wondering how Russians are, think about this. Well, I saw in total in these old days of running every day, probably 2 cars, maybe 3 cars that had a Z painted on it. I asked many Russians, what do you think about this Z? And all the Russians I asked, they said, well, this guy is crazy. So I never seen these, orange, black things pending anywhere. So I see a nation that really, honestly, is just doing their, normal life. They care too much about, the mortgages, everybody house and apartment, and doing their business and their stuff day by day. People running, people dining, people going away for a walk. So this thing is more, on state level. It's not thinking that touch the people, and the people, they are just, getting the inheritance of the situation which is appearing. So let me know what are your considerations. This is really important for me. A like will be very much appreciated. Subscribe to my channel. I promise I will do more material in English, and we keep in touch. Thank you.